Honda. The name is a byword for bulletproof reliability. But even a legend has its failures. Today, we're exposing the truth as we break down the 3 worst and 4 best Honda engines ever built. We're talking about the immortal power plants that will outlive the apocalypse, and the catastrophic failures that can turn your dream car into a financial nightmare. This isn't just opinion, it's the verdict from decades of data, mechanic horror stories, and real-world meltdowns. Strap in, because we're starting with the engines so bad, you should avoid them like a curse. And kicking off our list of the worst is an engine with a nickname so perfect, it writes the review itself. Meet the L15B7 Turbo, infamously known as the cold Soak Catastrophe. This 1.5-liter turbo, found in millions of 10th-gen Civics and 5th-gen CR Versas, was supposed to be a masterpiece of efficiency and pep. Instead, it became a masterclass in engineering oversight. The core failure is a brutal case of fuel dilution. In cold weather, gasoline doesn't burn completely. It washes past the piston rings and contaminates your engine oil. So imagine this, your oil level rises instead of falls, and it starts smelling strongly of gasoline. This thins out your oil, starving your engine of proper lubrication, leading to accelerated wear, misfires, and potentially a spectacularly early retirement. Now, Honda's response? Mostly software patches and service bulletins, never a full recall. The burden fell on owners to perform religious 5,000-mile oil changes and take their cars on long, hot drives just to boil off the fuel, which is a ridiculous ask for a daily commuter. And as if that wasn't enough, this engine also suffers from carbon buildup on the intake valves, a classic direct injection problem, and a turbocharger that can be its own point of failure. For an engine that should have been a home run, the L15B7 is a triple threat of problems that absolutely earns its spot on this list. But just when you thought engine flaws couldn't get more frustrating, our next pick trades a design flaw for an architectural sin. Meet our second worst engine, the H22A, the FRM Heartbreaker. This 2.2-liter VTEC powerhouse from the 4th and 5th gen Prelude was a beast on paper, delivering a thrilling 217 horsepower. But its genius is also its fatal flaw, fiber-reinforced metal cylinder liners. Honda designed these FRM liners to be ultra-strong and lightweight. In reality, they're about as forgiving as a concrete pillow. The problem? You can't just rehone the cylinders during a rebuild like a normal engine. If a piston ring fails or a rebuild isn't done to an exacting spec, these liners get gouged beyond repair. Your only options? An astronomically expensive relining process, or swapping the entire block. And that's just the main event. The supporting cast of failures is just as bad, a fragile timing belt tensioner known for sudden failure, a complex secondary balance shaft belt that adds another point of catastrophe, and an enthusiastic appetite for oil long before 100,000 miles. For an engine that promised high-revving VTEC glory, the H22A is a heartbreaking lesson in over-engineering. It's a brilliant performer that too often becomes a parts car candidate, all because of liners you can't fix. But our final engine, this one is in a league of its own. It's the one that makes the FRM issue look almost manageable. Our number 1 worst engine will make you question everything you thought you knew about Honda's infallibility. And now, taking the undisputed crown for Honda's worst engine ever made, is the P10A2, the wet belt triple. This 1.0-liter turbo 3-cylinder, found in global models like the Civic and Jazz, isn't just a bad engine, it's a perfect storm of catastrophic engineering decisions. The centerpiece of this failure? Honda decided to run the timing belt inside the engine, bathed in oil. It sounds innovative, but in practice, it's a nightmare. This wet belt deteriorates, shedding rubber debris that clogs oil passages, starves the turbocharger of lubrication, and leads to catastrophic failures. We're talking about repair bills soaring to $5,000 for an engine replacement, often before the car even hits 100,000 miles. And it's plagued by the same fuel dilution issues as its bigger 1.5L brother, making a bad situation worse in cold climates. This engine is so fundamentally flawed, it single-handedly makes you question what Honda was thinking. But, and this is a crucial but, Before you write off the entire brand, let's remember the other side of the story. Because for every one of these engineering disasters, Honda has built a dozen masterpieces. This is the company that gave us the scream of VTEC, that dominated Formula One, and created engines so legendary, they became the gold standard for swaps into everything from Miatas to old Volkswagens. So now, let's flip the script. Let's wash the taste of these failures out of our mouths and celebrate the engines that built Honda's reputation. These are the 4 best engine series ever to wear the H badge, the power plants mechanics love, enthusiasts seek out, and that can reliably outlast the very cars they're bolted into. Kicking off our list of Honda's best is the foundation of their legendary reputation, the F-Series. And the crown jewels of this family are the F22B and F23A1 engines, affectionately known as the Sealguard Accord engines. For over a decade, these 2.2 and 2.3-liter power plants were the heart of millions of Accords and Preludes. They weren't built for glory on a racetrack, they were built for a 300,000-mile commute. Their genius lies in a simple, bulletproof design. First and foremost, they are non-interference engines. Let that sink in. If your timing belt snaps on the highway, you don't get a $4,000 paperweight. You get a new belt, and you drive away. That single feature has saved owners countless thousands in repair bills. They combine a rugged cast iron block with an aluminum head for durability and simplicity. Now, they do have one famous quirk, a balanced shaft seal that can pop out if a simple retainer clip isn't installed during a timing belt service. It's a fix so easy and well documented that it's become a rite of passage for Honda owners. Do that one small service, give it basic maintenance, and this engine will outlast your desire to keep the car. We're talking 250,000 miles minimum. It's not exciting, but it's relentlessly dependable. But what if you want that F-Series reliability with a shot of adrenaline? Well, that exact same engine family has a legendary answer for that too. You asked for excitement with your reliability, and the F-Series family delivers in the most spectacular way possible. Meet the legendary F20C, the 9,000 RPM screamer. This is the engine that powered the iconic Honda S2000, and it wasn't just built for power, it was built for a revolution. It held the title for the highest specific output of any naturally aspirated production car engine in the world. Let that sink in. We're talking about a staggering 120 horsepower per liter from a 2.0-liter four-cylinder, screaming all the way to a mind-bending 9,000 RPM. But here's the true engineering miracle. It does this reliably. This isn't a fragile race engine, it's a precision instrument built for the long haul. Its secret weapon is a bottom end forged for battle, with connecting rods and a crankshaft that can handle the astronomical piston speeds. It features oil jets to cool the pistons, a trick stolen from Formula One, and a bulletproof timing chain that eliminates belt service anxiety. While the early S2000's chassis had a reputation for being lively, the engine itself was never the problem. Owners regularly report hitting 200,000, even 300,000 miles with these engines, all while still enjoying that legendary 9,000 RPM redline. So, while the standard F-Series engines are the dependable heart of Honda, the F20C is its soul, a soul that sings an unforgettable mechanical symphony at the edge of the tachometer. Now, let's talk about the engine that didn't just use VTEC, it defined VTEC for an entire generation. This is the legendary B-Series, and its king is the B18C from the Integra Type R. Enthusiasts know it by one name, the Type R red top, instantly recognizable by its iconic crimson valve cover. This 1.8-liter masterpiece didn't just raise the bar, it launched it into the stratosphere. With 197 horsepower, it achieved a stunning 108 horsepower per liter and a spine-tingling 8,400 RPM redline. But the magic wasn't just in the numbers, it was in the maniacal attention to detail. These engines were hand-ported, hand-assembled, and blueprint to a degree that humbled exotics costing 10 times as much. It was a factory-built, street-legal race engine. This legendary status, however, came with a dark side. The Integra Type R became a prime target for thieves, with many cars stolen just to rip out their priceless B18C heart. Finding an unmolested survivor today is like finding a needle in a haystack. But if you are lucky enough to own one, the reward is immense. With just basic, diligent maintenance, timing belts, valve adjustments, and good oil, these engines are famously bulletproof. It's not uncommon to find examples with 250,000 miles that still scream to their 8,400 RPM limiter with the same ferocity as day one. The B18C1 isn't just a great Honda engine, it's a landmark in automotive history that proved passion could be mass-produced. But to truly understand the B series, we have to go back to the beginning, to the engine that started the VTEC revolution. Meet the B16A and B16B, the VTEC godfathers. This is where the legend was born. In 1989, the B16A became the world's first mass-produced VTEC engine. It wasn't just an innovation, it was a declaration of war on boring economy cars. Then, Honda pushed it even further with the B16B and the iconic Civic Type R EK9, squeezing an unbelievable 185 horsepower from just 1.6 liters. That's over 115 horsepower per liter in the 1990s, a number that embarrassed supercars. These engines, found in the Civic SUR and CRX, didn't just move cars, they moved culture. They created the VTEC kick sensation that became a rite of passage for an entire generation of gearheads. That sudden surge of power as the cam profile switched was a mechanical miracle you could feel in your soul. And the true genius? These high-strung, 8,000 RPM screamers were built to last. Their short-stroke design was born to rev, and with just the holy trinity of Honda maintenance, timing belts, valve adjustments, and fresh oil, they regularly clocked 200,000 miles without losing their signature scream. The B16 didn't just prove Honda could build performance and reliability into one package. It created the blueprint that every performance Honda has followed since. Now let's talk about the engines that built Honda's tuner empire from the ground up. This is the D series, the undisputed, budget-friendly kings of the street. We're focusing on the D16Z6 and D16Y8, but enthusiasts know them by a more famous name, the Mini-Me makers. What makes these 1.6-liter engines legendary isn't raw power, it's their role as the ultimate gateway drug for a generation of gearheads. They powered Civics and Del Sols with unshakable reliability, but their true claim to fame is the legendary Mini-Me swap. This involved bolting a VTEC cylinder head from one D series onto the block of another, creating a cheap, home-built VTEC monster. This was the project that taught thousands how to wrench. The single overhead cam design meant simplicity and affordability. The massive aftermarket support meant you could always find parts. And the huge online knowledge base meant you had a community to guide you. With just 127 horsepower, they weren't setting records. But in a lightweight Civic, they delivered a ton of fun and that classic VTEC kick. More importantly, with basic care, the bottom ends are known to easily cruise past 250,000 miles. The D series may not be the most powerful engines on this list, but they are arguably the most important. They democratized performance, proving you didn't need a deep wallet to have a deep connection with your car. And now, we've arrived at Honda's modern masterpiece, the crown jewel of 21st century engineering, the K Series. This is the engine that proves Honda never lost its magic. We're focusing on the legendary K24A and K24Z 2.4-liter engines, but in the tuning world, they're known by a more famous name, Franken K. Why that name? Because enthusiasts discovered these engines are the ultimate building blocks. The most famous trick in the book is the Frankenstein build, marrying the torque-rich K24 bottom end with the high-flowing, high RPM head from a K20 Type R. The result? A naturally aspirated monster that blends brutal mid-range punch with a thrilling top-end scream. But beyond its tuning potential, the K24 is a paragon of reliability in its stock form. Found in Accords, TSX, and CR Versys, it delivers a robust 200-plus horsepower and is known to easily surpass 300,000 miles with just basic maintenance. It features a timing chain, eliminating costly belt services, and its stout bottom end is famously resilient, whether you're just daily driving or adding a turbocharger. It's the complete package: modern, powerful, reliable, and endlessly versatile. The K-Series is the definitive proof that Honda's spirit of innovation and durability is alive and well. And that, everyone, is the incredible range of Honda engineering. From the catastrophic failures you must avoid to the legendary engines that built a reputation spanning decades. It's a story of both brilliant innovation and sobering missteps. So, what's your experience? Do you have a seal guard Accord that just won't die? Or have you suffered through a cold soak catastrophe? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more unfiltered automotive deep dives. Thanks for watching.